What's up, crew? How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
What's up, Coach?
Good,
Nice to
good.
meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. Is my connection okay? You guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good. I'm wondering if it might be mine too. Am I choppy at all?
Everyone sounds good to me.
Okay, great.
Okay. There he is. What's up, Marshall?
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Coach.
Who's
What's up,
on here?
Coach?
Hey.
Look at this. Aiden's on here. George, John Wong driving back from NTL. God bless you.
Yeah, we got a squad on here.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself and then pass it over to Marshall. But first of all, we just want to thank you for being a part of this. We're excited. This is the first coaching cohort either of us have done together with Meadow Park and getting the game 101. So we're excited about this year. We're all going to be together through March, and then hopefully in April, you all come out to the Hoop Summit and we'll all get together in Portland. But my name's John Ross, and so I started getting the game 101 where we host these online classes and sessions. And so we've been doing that for 3 to 4 years. Before that, I worked for the Portland Trail Blazers for 15 years. I started out as a video intern and then, started working in basketball operations, scouting, personnel, and then most recently was in with the Calgary Surge in Canada in the CEBL as an assistant coach. Me and Marshall met out here in Portland. He used to pop into Trailblazers practices all the time, and so we connected there. And then, kind of during COVID, when no one was doing anything, me and Marshall started hanging out in person. So we got to know each other and just supported each other's journeys. And that's one of the things we love is like it's about people and relationships. And that's if you've been in any of my sessions before, that's what we talk about is enjoying the journey. It's all about, people, relationships, doing these things together. And so I'm excited to get to know all of you over the next several months. And I'm going to kick it over to Marshall from there.
No, thanks for that, John. Man, super exciting to see all these faces. I know there's a couple coaches that looks like they're maybe on the road or whatnot. I know a few of you. The rest of you guys I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys and learning more about you and seeing how I can be a help in your coaching journey. I've been through a lot. This past Wednesday, I missed a call where, we had about 4 or 5 coaches coming on and just kind of talking a little bit through what we're hoping to do this year. And it was interesting, the 3 or 4 coaches, whether they're, I think, Kaylin, you were talking about hopping from boys to girls to wanting to have college or even maybe have professional coaching aspirations to, we had an assistant coach from the coast, Oregon coast. I don't know if he's on right now. But talking about just starting as a JV coach for the first time and thinking about, where his career can take him. I've been blessed to have started coaching. It's been about 20 years now. I started as a middle school coach. I coached at all levels, high school, college. I've worked with professional players. So everything to share with you guys. And the thing, John's just super humble. But what I've really appreciated, and I'm sure he'll get a chance to share this in a little bit, is how he's pivoted away from times when he had to, he was down on his luck and just had to demonstrate courage. And I think that's a big piece of it. I think for each one of you having the courage to sign up for something that's brand new and not knowing what to expect, we're just really grateful for it. And I'm hopeful that this will be a community that we build and we can empower you guys to be as impactful of coaches as you can be there for a second. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna just put this headphone on. So yeah, I mean, I think just since we have everybody on here, I do, we want to give you guys kind of the outline of the class and all that. But I think before we do that, it'd be great to do a quick introduction, and see and listen where you guys are all from. If that would be possible, maybe we can do some introductions. We could start with maybe Aiden, to my left here on my screen, but I don't know where we're finding you from today, but hello? Is he frozen? We lost Aiden there for a second. Can you guys all hear me okay? Go on. Yeah, okay.
You guys hear me?
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Lost you there for a second, Aiden.
Can you?
Let's come back to you. Maybe we can find you in a spot
Okay.
where you have better Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah,
How about
let me get better
Cameron?
Wi-Fi.
Want me to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Kalen Hilst. I'm from Hutchinson, Kansas, about right smack dab in the middle of Kansas. I started off on the boys side, as you mentioned earlier. So I was a boys assistant. I was a JV coach and a varsity assistant at 2 different high schools throughout a combination of 5 years. And then a few years ago, got a call from the high school that I went to and where I played myself, to come back home and be the head coach for the girls team. And I had never coached girls before. So, just kind of took a leap of faith there. And this will be my 3rd season now. We've had 2 pretty good seasons to start off with, but, just excited to see what I can learn from this cohort and, continue to build on the knowledge that I have and, just become a better coach.
Awesome. How'd you hear about us?
So one of my new assistants, who I think he's going to be on here eventually. I don't know if I see him on the screen, but
Okay.
one of my new assistants, his name's Michael Johnson, actually mentioned it to me. I just hired him to be our kind of freshman team coach back in May. So he'll be in his first season, and he mentioned you to us and decided to hop on.
Awesome. Honored to have you. Excited to have you guys, you and Michael, and hopefully I can learn a thing or two about girls basketball as well. I'm hoping, again, this is something, it's a two-way street. So thanks for that, Kalen. How about George? Can we have you go next?
Hey, coaches. I'm super grateful to be here with you all. I'm from Eugene, Oregon. Actually played against Marshall back in the day. And never thought I'd end up back in Eugene, and never thought I'd be a head coach where I am. So I'm coaching at South Eugene where I played, and I coached middle school a long time ago, and then I coached girls in Portland and was the varsity assistant at Grant High School, and then the JV coach at St. Mary's. But this is my first time leading a program, and so I was just at a coaches conference in Portland, and there's a bunch of coaches with 180 wins, 200 wins, 250 wins. I'm 0-0, so we'll see how it goes. But that's all to say that I need y'all. I got a lot to learn for sure. I'm excited about it, and I appreciate you all bringing us together. Thank you.
Awesome. George, you were being generous when you said I played against you. George was a senior my junior year when I was riding the Pine at Springfield High, and George was one of the best high school hoopers I had seen up to that point. So kind of a full circle moment, but excited to have you. I remember being 0-0 at Lake Oswego, and ironically, now that we're talking, my very first win came in the South Eugene gym against a very good South Eugene team. So, do you know your first game? You have your schedule already circled? I'm
Yeah,
assuming?
we got Churchill and then West Lynn, so we're getting it going.
Okay, I love it. In-town opponent, and then powerhouse program up this way in Portland, Oregon. Awesome. Thanks for that, George. How about TC?
Hey everyone, my name's Tyson. I'm from Metro Atlanta, Georgia. Coaching over at Fulton Science Academy. It's a private school in the Metro Atlanta area. I'll be entering my third year as the head varsity boys coach. Um, really excited to be a part of this cohort and, learn from everybody and, take some notes and just get my thinking jump started. Right now, we're currently headed into week 2 of practice. So that's where we're sitting at right now. And heard about the cohort from John Ross. We coached together this summer.
Okay. That's insane. Like how our country has just start dates from all over, where in the state of Oregon, we're not going to start for another 3 weeks and you're already 2 weeks in. When is your last game in Georgia?
Our district tournament ends on the 14th of February. And then if you make it to the state championship, it'd be March 6th.
March 6th. Okay. That's insane. Because that's when our Oregon state tournament ends as well. So
Oh, really?
yeah, wonder if that means you get an extra stipend than what we get, for the extra 6 weeks of coaching that you're having to do. But
Yeah, no, that's
okay.
true.
Okay. Do you have aspirations beyond high school or third year varsity? You obviously helped John. Yeah, what are some career goals you have ahead for yourself?
I mean, just kind of being where my feet are, like, has been kind of the main theme I've been keeping, and just enjoying the staying power right now. Like, just been building systems even more rooted in the community in year 3. Can only imagine what that would look like, 10 years in. But I do aspire, would love to coach pro basketball consistently year after year. And I think, you know, the ACB league would be a dream of mine. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all living in Spain.
No
Yeah, I'll
question.
just say I have hopes for Tyson as well because I plan on taking him anywhere I go. So
Okay,
we'll see how that goes.
awesome. All right, Tyson, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Is it Rochelle? Did I say that right?
You did. Thank you.
Okay,
I get
great.
Rachel a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually called you Rachel an hour ago on my call with John. So and I was trying to remember, wait, what did he say again? So
No,
yeah, nice to meet
it's
you.
all
Where
good.
are you tuning in from?
So I'm tuning in from Hungary right now.
Okay.
So it was a little easier to catch tonight's call. We just had fallback, so it's only 1 a.m. here instead of 2 that it was originally going to be. So we had a game
Incredible.
too, so you know that after the post game, usually you can't sleep anyway. So wanted to
Yeah.
jump on tonight while I can. But
No,
coached all levels, coaching professionally this year. Also had an opportunity to be with John this past summer and Tyson. Tyson, good to see you again. And every level has had its challenges, for sure. But it's beautiful to see what each level can bring, the different challenges and what you can learn coaching at every level. But the goal is to continue in the professional realm, with professional women's league over here. We're also competing in the Euro Cup. So between tonight's game, we head out to Milan, got to turn around, get the rest of the scout ready for the next game when we fly out early Tuesday. So, and Marshall, I've heard a lot about
incredible.
you, family in Oregon, and I've known about you, so I was really excited that you're going to be on this cohort, and just to learn more from you, and of course, John. Every time I hop on, I learn something new. So, really excited for this cohort. So, thanks for having it.
No, thank you. That it's an honor to have you. Before I follow up with all the things you listed, how are things in the country? There was a big protest recently, I think we watched in the media. I mean, yeah.
Here where I am further south
Yeah.
from Budapest, where a lot of the protests happen. Obviously, there's millions
Yeah.
of people there versus my smaller towns, so
Yeah.
I'm not impacted too much, and we haven't traveled recently there, so not bad where I am.
All right, we may have lost Marshall for a second there. So, Rochelle, great to see you. Thanks for
I
tuning in.
totally. I asked this loaded question, by the way, and I got cut out. The internet is
All right,
unstable
ask,
for 5, so I'll have to
all
watch the
right,
recording. But
ask,
did my face freeze
ask
after I
again.
asked that question? No, it's all good. We'll watch it back on the replay. But no, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully my Wi-Fi won't cut out again after I ask the next person. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
How about Paolo?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out this
Yep.
whole thing. Yes, yeah. So, well, my full name is Paulo Nicole, but my kids call me Nick. I don't have a deep background like from what from what I've listened from the previous coaches, right, that just spoke. I actually have a youth program. I'm from Oakland, California. And again, I have an AAU youth program. We just started. It's originally 12, 13, 14 U, and now we're actually starting our 10 and 11. So that's very exciting. And I'm very excited to learn from you guys because we are actually just 7 months in. So we are a very young program. And I really believe that is starting at like the 9 and the 10 is like where we can make the most impact and just really just more than just changing the game, right? But there's just a lot of program that's like a must win program and just doesn't really focus on developmental. So that's really like the goal of the program, right? But I've heard about this cohort from Mino Tsumura. Marshall, he spoke very highly of you. You and Mino, I believe, met in the Asian leader. You guys are both in the same book. So he shared me like what you do, and he said, hey, you're gonna pick up a lot from this guy, and he has like a very good community, so I'm just very excited. I know the program is focused on high school, or like more on not on like the AAU program, but I just want to pick up a little bit, and I just want to make sure that I can translate this to my kids.
No, that's big time. And again, like somebody like Rochelle who's like out, in Hungary and getting to see, what a FIBA development program might look like for youth basketball. That's something I'm really fascinated with, especially coming on the heels of my involvement with the Hoop Summit World Team. But, even somebody like George who's starting, a varsity program, but really for his program to thrive, at a public high school, he has to hit all the 9 and 10-year-olds in the neighborhood, and he's competing against other schools in town in Eugene that might be trying to recruit those kids away or those families away. So, honestly, Paolo, I think there's a lot that you're going through right now that I think we're going to be able to talk, bring in people who've built programs from the ground up, all the way from a K to 12, or for my experience at Lake Oswego. I mean, I saw my kids at 4th grade on, and I was greedy. Like I wanted to see them even earlier. And I'll get to my guy Aiden Williams here in a minute, who played at Jesuit high school, rival school to ours. And in the state of Oregon, everybody complains about the fact that we have like 2 powerhouse private school programs. And I always think about it as a competitor or as a coach. Like the private schools, maybe those head coaches only get a 4-year relationship with these players. And I would always tell them, like, if I do this right, I have an 8-year relationship. Some of them, if they start coming to my camps at 1st grade, like I'll have like a 12-year relationship. So that's the hope there. Here we go again. Can you guys hear me? This might need to be a cell phone
Yeah,
call.
no, I can hear you.
Okay. It's funny because I saw the frozen screens and I was like, oh, I lost you guys again. All right. Paolo, can you hear me okay? I'm gonna stand by the window. Maybe we just had like a big thunderstorm here in
Oh
Portland.
no,
So
no, I can hear you
okay,
clear. Yeah.
okay. Did you guys get everything I was saying, or was I just frozen?
Yes,
Was the
yes.
audio
No,
coming
good.
through?
No. Yeah,
Okay,
you were
perfect.
frozen, but the audio was like perfect. It
Oh,
was
okay, good.
crystal clear.
Yeah, I keep getting the notice that my internet is unstable. So, let's hustle through the intros real quick, so that we don't get another stuck situation, and then John can talk a little bit more. How about John Wong?
Hi everyone. My name's John. I coach freshman boys basketball at San Marino High School in LA area. I've been the head coach for 12 years of the freshman boys. I started as an assistant 2 years before that. I don't really have a basketball background. I actually met Marshall at a camp called Never Too Late Basketball for Adults in 2012, which was when I started coaching. And we've built a relationship over the years. And Marshall's been a mentor and has probably a lot of guidance over the years. And I enjoy coaching. I love basketball. But over the years, I've learned I love coaching more than maybe even the game in terms of just working with young men and the opportunity to potentially be a positive influence in their lives, during a formative years. So I continue to do that. Marshall keeps asking me why I don't try to challenge myself and move up from freshman. And honestly, two answers to that. One is this is my hobby, not my job, and it's fun at the freshman level. And two is the freshmen still listen to you. So it's a lot more. It's a lot easier to coach when the players still listen to you. So, but that's it. I'm really excited to be part of this cohort, share experiences, learn from everyone. And I guess maybe professionally, I mentioned, I work in finance. I've been around the world working in finance for about 35 years. And so, like I said, this is my second job, which I do at night.
Awesome, thanks, John. Do I really guilt trip you like that? I
You
didn't
do,
think I
you
was.
do. Every year you text me, you're like, when are you gonna do JV? When are you gonna move up? When are you gonna go try another school?
Here's the thing, everybody. I was a freshman coach at the Matha Catholic my first year, and they would always tell me best job at the school is being a freshman coach. The JV job is probably the hardest in any program. So yeah, I think that's probably what it is. I want you to be pushed out of your comfort zone, John.
Exactly.
So hopefully this cohort will figure out a way to peer pressure you, all of us. At the
I'm
end of the
looking forward
session.
to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right, we got a few more left. Michael Johnson, talk to us.
All right, so I'm Michael, from Wichita, Kansas. Moved up here to Wichita or to Hutch to be a freshman coach up here with Kalen Hilst. The last couple of years I've been with WSU. While I was there, met Marshall Cho when he came in to speak, and have been in connection with him for about a year now. And because of that, I've been able to go through and do one other course with John, which that was great. And looking forward to learning a lot more from this cohort.
Awesome. And you brought your boss on to the call with us, so you already earned bonus points with us.
Yeah, I saw it, and he said he wanted to try and do something with college at some point, so I thought it was a good opportunity to get him on along too.
No, it's big time, big time. Thanks, Michael. Look forward to having you. And just this will be fun too, because then we'll get to see a head coach, assistant coach dynamic. George, maybe we'll get an assistant coach of yours or two to hop on at some point as well. We'll have a separate, again, I'm a little nervous because I'm just afraid the Wi-Fi cutting out, but I find myself talking faster than normal. But just the intro even now is getting my brain just engaged in terms of what we want to do for you guys, right? So how do we do it? Like, is there a session where we focus on the assistant coaches that come in and speak for a 15-20 minute segment, right? Do we have conversations on that as well? So just how to be a good assistant coach, right, John? You and I talk about that all the time in your program, John Wong. So yeah, I'm super excited to actually have like a head coach, assistant coach pairing here with us. Really cool. I think Aiden and you guys are the last two. Let's have you go, Aiden. Let's see if your Wi-Fi is better than mine.
Awesome. All right, yeah, great. Hey everyone, nice to meet all of you. My name's Aiden. I'm an assistant coach at Occidental in Los Angeles, and I also coach a club basketball team. Coach John, I coach the Titanium Hoops 14U team. So I think next year you're going to be coaching my guys, which has been super fun. I played at Occidental too, and as Coach Cho said, I know Marshall from high school. I played at Jesuit. Played like us. We go all the time. They handed us an L my senior year, the first game of the year. So hey, we've been through a lot. Competed against each other. I'm super excited to be here. Again, I just jumped into the college world. So I'm learning a lot every day at practice. My voice is definitely there. I'm a yeller. But I would like to pick up some tips and stuff on, X's and O's and strategy and building a program and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just excited to be here and meet all you guys.
So Aiden, you better not reveal my comments and complaints here to Coach Pop because he's my boss. But I got one on you, which is Coach Newhall and I have been on jury duty twice together or 3 times together.
Oh, no way.
Oh. So I can get you back.
Yeah. I mean, the team I coached for Titanium was the 14U B, supposed to be the B team, but we've almost gotten to the level of the A team. So next year, I think you're in good hands. I think you guys can be pretty good.
I appreciate you. I
yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I love the San Marino community. Again, like you guys, like Coach Ross and Coach Cho said, like it's all about getting to know new people.
Yeah.
I've gotten to know so many people. I've been down here and stuff. Like obviously the San Marino community. So it's just, I've again, I fell into it and I'm just looking to get better.
It's like two worlds
Awesome.
colliding for me.
No, complete strangers, and then turns out, yeah. I'll have you know, Aiden's one hell of a shooter. He played at Occidental as well. I don't know the rest of you guys in terms of your shooting game. I would put George at number 1 and Aiden at a close number 2. But yeah, he did catch fire his senior year, and led his Jesuit team to a state championship, handing me a heartbreaking loss as the number 1 seed in the semifinals. But I'm so proud of him, and just excited to have Aiden, a young star coach in the waiting, but also just to have like again a little more diversity for this call and having a current college coach in as well. So great to have you, Aiden. Proud of you.
Thanks, Coach.
And look forward to
Thank
this.
you. Yep.
All right, and last but not least, Coach Cho. There's another Coach Cho in the Zoom. What's going on?
Hello, everybody. My name is Un Cho, and I'm at Central Catholic High School. I'm a physical education and wellness teacher there, and I'll be coaching a freshman team this year. I got hired this year, so there's a lot to adjust to, but I'm excited and I'm ready to do the work. Prior to living in Portland, Oregon, I lived in Maine for a year, working at a boarding school. It's called Washington Academy. And that's where I got to hear about Coach Cho from my assistant principal at the school. He sent me an article about Marshall Cho and told me there's already established Coach Cho out there. And then it's full circle now. I got to connect with him, and then I got to help him out and work with him past few weeks on Saturday for pickup runs. And I already learned so much, and yeah, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm looking forward to everything that's coming.
Awesome. Thanks, son. John, why don't we have you? I'm gonna hand it off to you real quick while I be on the move to look for a better Wi-Fi situation.
No, you're good.
So yep.
Yeah, I'm good. So one thing I wanted to share, and then and Marshall will share, is just kind of the heart of Meadow Park and getting the game 101. You guys, everything you just shared, like that's the heart of it. I know you said like This, you may feel like, oh, people are in a different space than me and I'm not in this, and this might not be about this. I just want to encourage you all that it is. Like, it is about everyone's journey, whatever step of the way you're on. Like, we can all learn from each other. Like, I'm looking forward to learning from all of you and being a part of this. And the connections, like we've talked about, it's cool to see some of you, already finding out you're connected, or being connected already. But even, me, Tyson, and Rochelle, we met on these calls, and then we all ended up at the same team up in Calgary this summer. And so you just never know where, the connections and relationships will lead. And so we had a few questions from those of you who were able to go to the info session on Wednesday. So we're going to start that out. So John, your question was, what drives you to work in hoops? So if you want to share with us, John.
That's me?
That's you.
Oh man, I don't even remember submitting the question.
Oh, I submitted it for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what drives me? I think I alluded to in my little intro. I love the game of basketball. I started coaching because I wanted to be around basketball, be around the gym, learn more about basketball. To X's and O's, and then quickly got into running a team and a program and a season. But really, after 12, 14 years, the motivating thing is just being around the players and building the relationship with the players. It's something that I think I can get better at. Something I look to many others for guidance on that. I see Marshall when he came down with Oswego, when he came down here and played in Southern California. I watched how he coached his players. Always learning. But I just love the relationships that it comes. I didn't play basketball growing up, and so for me, I started playing in college, intramurals. My best friends in life are from basketball, though, and at different stages, and so it's just trying to pay that forward in terms of helping players learn skills both on the court and off the court, and so that's my why, I guess. I don't know if that answered your specific question.
That's perfect. No, we appreciate you sharing. One thing we want to do is just have everyone sharing, grow, learn from each other. Michael, your question was, what is one book that you have learned from that you would recommend to everyone, and why?
So my one book is Sacred Hoops. Is from Phil Jackson. He talks about his time with the Bulls and that last couple of stretch in that second three-peat when they get Jordan back, and how he used his incorporations of Zen and big talk about we over me, trying to make the team work as one, almost one mind, and just thinking through the process of trying to get the team together and making sure that everything is going together as a team, not just as an individual in any circumstance. I really recommend it. It really shows like the thought process of a leader, and doing your coaching and your leadership through a process of being calm and being centered at all times.
That's good, man. I appreciate that. And then Kaylin, your question was, what is one of the most important lessons you've learned in coaching?
Yeah, I think the two main lessons that I've learned ever since taking over as a head coach a few years ago, the first of which is, just the best assistant coaches are coaches that want to become head coaches someday. So when I started off, when I was 22 years old and just got into coaching, I had always had that aspiration of, I want to be a head coach. I want to be a head coach. I want to be a head coach. So I'm going to work my butt off for the head coach that I was working for, to prove that, this is really what I want to do someday. So I try to hire people on my staff that are really, really motivated. And I'll let them, as we go through the season, I'll let them kind of run portions of practice and take over certain drills, just so they can kind of get that experience as they go. So because I have been known to kind of dominate a practice from time to time. I like to hear myself talk, is what some players have kind of told me before, but just being able to pass that off and, let my staff take more of a leadership role as we go and stuff. And then the second thing, and then George, you had mentioned that you're just starting off in your first year as a varsity head coach. That was me 2 years ago. And, the word that gets thrown around in sports a lot is culture. And when I first started off, I thought culture would be some big grand gesture that you made when you first started out, but it's literally just the day-to-day operation, just coming in, being yourself, getting to know the kids, kind of setting the tone of how you want to operate and building those relationships, as John mentioned. That's culture to me. It's not some big event. It's just the day-to-day operation with your team, getting to know them, showing them that you care, coaching them hard, having high expectations for sure, but just building on a day-to-day basis.
No, that's great. Appreciate it, Kalen. All right, Coach Cho, you good?
I'm hoping I'm good, guys. I'm back in my minivan that I drove out to just speaking of just being on the run, I have I'm speaking to a group of youth coaches in about 45 minutes. So that I would be smart and get to the site ahead of time, sit down, get on Wi-Fi and get work done. But here we are. We had to pivot real quick. So on my cell phone here, just scrolling through all the people that are on. No, thank you for all that. Hopefully I won't get cut off again. And let me see if I can kind of keep my wits about me. Um, so we have another call coming up here in a couple weeks, and all these conversations are great, but this first one is really a chance to get to see what the team that I would say assembled, but that the team that we've been given, this kind of feels like my public high school coaching gig right now. I didn't know, I knew some of the players, like I got some surprises, I got a transfer in here, so but I really like the makeup of this team. Just a couple things, this is a side note, but this past year as the head coach of the World Hoop Summit World Team, the year before I had AJ DeBonsa, VJ Edgecombe, Kama Malawach. You talk about, like, on paper, the most stacked world team that we've ever had. Unfortunately, on the other side, they had Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey and a couple of other guys. So I suffered this 20-point loss on national television. I like to say, it was the culmination of 20 years of just working at something, and 10 years with USA Basketball, and having the courage to kind of step away from USA Basketball and turn heel and coach against them. Anyhow, we went through that whole year, and so for somebody who's stepped away from the game, and I coach one game a year at the moment. And so the second year, this past year, we had a team, and I'm going to tell you, every player that we try to get for whatever reason this year, we're saying giving us a no. John, you would know these guys again from your NBA, draft classes, but we're talking about guys like Kareem Lopez, even Dash Daniels. We managed to get, that's Dyson Daniels' younger brother, but he gets hurt midweek. Anyhow, long story short, I get this team, and it is like the most ragtag group that Nike had ever assembled in the history of the game. And I'm not referring to you guys as a ragtag group in that way, but what I found with that group was there was a real diversity of background, and even more so than what I would normally have in the Hoop Summit World Team. And all week long, we went through, and I remember thinking, man, like, this is going to be a real challenge, because the 26 draft class, this draft, the class that will come after this, I mean, they had AJ DeBonsa was on my team as a junior. He hops on. He's now on the other team. Cam Boozer, all these guys. And all week, the scouts are saying, "Oh, this world team's going to get blasted by 30." And we ended up, by about Thursday, I had realized that I had a special group. And I think also, like, a lot of what we did, I'm going to try to give to you guys is we really became a team over the course of the 4 or 5 days. And by Thursday, I knew that we had something special. And I think, like, I don't know how many guys actually watched the game. Aiden, you were there in person, but this was the first overtime game that we had in the history of the game. We were down. We went up 9 at halftime. USA Basketball, they are writing the refs. I'm gonna tell you, you want to talk about writing refs? They write the refs like crazy. And next thing I know, we're down 9, in the middle of the third quarter, and with about 4 minutes to go, we're down 15. And I remember thinking like, this is the last game. You know, my mom had been fighting stage 4 breast cancer for almost 12 years. At that time in April, I knew that this was the last game that she's ever going to see me coach. And I just remember, you know, being the biggest mama's boy out there, I remember thinking, I'm not going to let my mom watch her son suffer another 20-point loss, you know. And so I coached my ass off, and I think a lot of it, even for this group, it's the same thing. Like, you know, like Rochelle, you're a professional coach. Like, we are constantly discovering something new about ourselves as coaches. And like, for me to be 2 decades in on an NBA sideline trying to be like Eric Spoelstra, or like, you know, somebody that I'm not, like, I had this moment of epiphany as I'm fighting for the life of this team, you know, that at the end of the day, they're 18-year-olds. And I got to coach them just like I coach my Lake Oswego team. And this is a testimony I haven't shared publicly, but hopefully this is the kind of stuff that I'll tell you guys. I looked at my mom and I turned to and I said to myself, like, hell no, like, I'm not going out like this. And I turned to a person who was part of the Nike, you know, group that helped put the team together. And his name's Marcus. I go, hey Marcus, like, I'm the head coach, and I'm literally talking to a guy who's sitting right behind the bench, not part of the coaching staff. And Marcus, like, I mean, I could see in his face, like, what is this guy? Why is he talking to me right now? And I say, hey, Marcus, I've been in a lot of games like this at Lake Oswego where we come back and won. Watch, this game is not over. I don't know what like possessed me to say that in that moment, but I think about the heart of a group like this, or a heart of a coach. At the end of the day, like, even as I look back on it, I go, wow, like, I had checked off all the boxes in front of all these NBA GMs and scouts, but I still hadn't truly coached as myself on that stage until our our back was all the way up against the wall. And at that moment, it still is a surreal thing to talk about with you guys, is because I had found myself another level that I could go to, but I could only do it when I tap back into who I was as a coach, if that makes sense. Right. So for every one of you guys, like, for George, you're 0-0, but I know the player you are. Like, there's gonna come a moment this season, like, you're coaching at the floor that you played on. Like, something will click. And I think for most of us coaches, like, we go into that. I think it's, people say now it's flow state or zone or whatever, but I just think it's just not giving a F, like, and being true to yourself and coaching authentically. I think that's the biggest thing that I want to share on with you guys. I think in order to do that, just like what John did with you all, this has to be a participatory experience. Like, we will put you all on the spot, and you're gonna have to you have to bring something into this, right? And that'll allow us to draw the most out of you guys, if that makes sense. Okay. Um, I know I rambled a lot, but yeah, I think that's the biggest piece that I'm looking forward to is, um, again, talking about this Hoop Summit thing. I had incredible assistant coaches, and I think the biggest thing even I learned there, because these are politically with Nike, like, I didn't have a lot of juice, if I'm being honest with you guys. And what I had to do, I was assigned the coaches that I was given. So even in each of those situations, I had to think to myself, like, how do I best utilize my assistant coaches? How do I meet them where they're at, find out who they are, see what they do? And so even before we got to our week-long period of practices for the Hoop Summit team, like, I really felt like I knew these guys inside and out, and I could trust them, to lead an offense. I had an offensive coordinator, I had a defensive coordinator, I had a player development guy, Zach Gonzalez, who works out all the best players down in LA. Aiden, you might know him. Um, they just ran practice all week, and I became, as a head coach, even truly more of a conductor than I had been at Lake Oswego. So, I think it's the same thing for John and myself, is really trying to get to, like, what is it that that you guys are striving for in this particular year, and what do you bring from all your collective experiences? Okay. I got long-winded with that. At the end of this, I got about 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes until I hand this over back to John so that he can tell you guys how to follow up with all the Slack and keep this discussion flowing so that it's not just a Zoom call, every 2 weeks. This is my challenge to you guys. I would really like to know, and if you haven't done this yet, um, for my program, the first 3 years I built the Lake Oswego program, we had our core values were courage, presence, and trust. And so how I came to that word courage is my first year as a director of basketball operations at University of Portland. I'm having major like imposter syndrome. I'd never played Division I basketball, and now I'm telling a Stanford graduate, Eric Reveneau, who's probably the smartest college coach I had ever met, um, how to do his job, right, as a director of basketball ops. And I was going through a lot, just really long, tough days. And at the end of that season, I had the good fortune of going to the Final Four in Atlanta, and I had a chance to listen to John Gordon, and he was talking about this one book called One Word. And so essentially, in the beginning of the year, a lot of people will have, New Year's resolutions, and those things don't last very long, do they? Right? Like I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, I'm gonna, eat healthier, I'm gonna, X, Y, and Z. And a lot of those things fade. And so what John and his co-author did was instead of that, you should pick one word as your theme for the year. Okay, so you can go through all these exercises, of like listing out words that mean something to you. And some of you guys may already have this. But essentially, because I was going through all these moments of fear and doubt about myself, I went through a process and I picked a word called, that was courage. And it was incredibly useful because when I went to my own high school program, I said, look, because with high school kids, you can't bullshit them. They will sniff a phony from a mile away. And because I knew that I had lived out every day from that point on in April until December, that anytime I came across a situation where I was fearful, I would say that word back to myself. Take courage, Marshall. You can do this. Have courage, Marshall. Find courage. And it was an active thing that allowed me to just keep my sanity, but also to build on the fact that I did have courage inside and I had to bring it out somehow. So, what I would love for you guys to maybe follow up is think about that for yourselves. We can follow up with some, links that would allow you guys to come up with it. If you don't have a word already, obviously it's already October, so it's so much for New Year's resolution, but October, November, December, I think as we're heading into that season, I think for every one of you, whether you're in your first year or your 20th year, you're a head coach or assistant coach, I think there's a word that you guys can hang on to that would be a catalyst for you guys going into the second half of the season if you can launch into the first half of the upcoming season with the word.
Yeah, that was awesome, Marshall. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, so that was kind of, one thing we wanted, like Marshall just shared of taking this week. And then we want to kind of collect those as a group, let next session will be November 9th. And so we'll bring that to the table for each other and be able to, that's what we'll be sharing. And then, yeah, like I said, the Slack channel, all of you should have access to it. If you have any questions, let me know. I can still email everyone too to make sure you get the classes, but we will, after these are finished, we'll upload them onto YouTube. It's an unlisted YouTube link, which means it's just for you who are participating in this course. We'll drop that on the Slack, and then we'll put the Zoom sessions on for the next class as well. And then obviously that's a place for open discussion. If you guys have questions, thoughts, things you want to bring to the table to communicate, we'll do that on the channel. And then yeah, like we said, we're excited to be in this throughout the whole season, and we'll just be bringing all kinds of different thoughts and experiences and everything to the table. And we talked to a few of you on Wednesday, but like if you have, me and Marshall want to bring in, a 360 of all the things you're interested in, from athletic trainers to advanced scouts to personnel, whatever you're like, hey, could we talk about this, or go in this direction? Let us know. We want to bring people in as well. Obviously me and Marshall will help facilitate, guide conversation. We want it to be heavy on you, and then we also want to bring other people in who can bring an impact to this space. And so yeah, just super excited to have you all. And then Marshall, do you want to share anything else before we jump into Q&A?
No, just that I think, yeah, the more you guys speak up on what you want to get out of this, what we'll end up doing, I think, is we'll look at all the requests and map out John and I have, like, our network is just so extensive. Like, we were just going through it the other day. Like, what if somebody wanted to learn more about, X? And like he came up with 2, 3 coaches. I came up with 2, 3 coaches. And then, we were talking about which NBA players could we invite to come speak to the guys for 15 minutes. And he had a bunch, I had a bunch. So I think a lot of it, we want this to be, we always say good teams are coach driven, but great teams are player driven. So even for this, for a good class, like you can't have like me rambling like I just did for 10 minutes. That'll be far and few, in between. We what we want to do is listen to you first, hear what your needs are. We'll prioritize them, we'll list them, and then we'll map out the guest speakers we'll bring to you. But also, if there's other, like if you got one-off question that just really doesn't relate to the group, that's something I can answer for you, John can answer for you. We can find answers for you. So that's the goal for us, to serve you best.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so we just kind of want to open it up. You guys have any questions or thoughts here from the first night that you want to bring to the table? I see the thumbs up, which is awesome. If you guys know how to use those functions, that's great. There's a hand raising button on there as well. So when we bring speakers in, that's the best way to raise your hand. Wow, we got hearts, lots of love here. But yeah, whenever you guys have questions, when we have speakers in, or even when me and Marshall are talking, if you have a question that pops your mind, just throw up that hand, and then that'll let us know, like, hey, call on Kaylin or call on Aiden, just to make sure, we're going through. But anybody have any other thoughts or anything you want to add to this evening? All right, well, we'll go. Oh, Kaylin, you got something?
Yeah, I just kind of moving forward, here in Kansas, we're about 3 weeks out as well. We start kind of mid-November. So in my first 2 years as the head coach at Hutch High, we had 2 really, really good players that are now playing at the college level. They both just graduated. So kind of lucked into that as a first year head coach, getting a couple, really good players to kind of build around. But now that they're gone, I guess my question for everybody is, we just lost three out of our 5 starters, 2 of which are playing at the college level, 1 of which could have, but just kind of decided not to. But we have a really, really good freshman class coming in. So just kind of how to balance going into the start of the season. We have some players coming back, but we also are going to kind of have to build around our youth. So how to best effectively do that. I've been kind of led by a team of upperclassmen in my first 2 years, and we're going to kind of have to shift our focus to the younger kids. So just any tips on that would be appreciated.
I'd say the floor is everyone's, or Coach Cho. But if anyone else you want to jump in on that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've gone through those seasons before, so I can empathize, but I feel the excitement when I hear that more than anything. Again, just one sample size of having had, AJ DeBonsa and or, VJ Edgecombe and Nolan Troyer 1 year. And yet the second year, because I was a better coach or more connected, right? Like I performed better with the less roster. So I think just even on a more recent case, I think whenever I confront situations like that, I just get excited because I think it's a chance for you and Michael and the rest of this coaching staff to step your game up, right? Couple things, just I mean, beyond the motivational chat, which might be empty if I don't back it up with like actual game plan for you to address, this issue. Like, do you get preseason workout times in Kansas? Because I know we do in Oregon, right? Like, so there's that.
Yes, we do. We do it together with the boys team, and we go 3 days a week from 4 to 6, just right after school. But it's only for kids that don't play volleyball or football.
All sports. And then
So
do you have girls
numbers
who
are
play
pretty
volleyball?
limited on that. Yeah, the high school that I'm at, the volleyball numbers are huge. So I mean, we consistently have like 4 or 5 kids, and these 2 or 3 kids in the freshman class that we're going to expect to play right away and contribute. They have not been coming to workouts because of volleyball. So
Yeah. And then your schedule is already set in the state of Kansas. Like, do you do it in the spring just like we do here in Oregon, or do you get to schedule right up until the end, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it actually just shifted. So in the first 7 years that I've been coaching, you've only been allowed to play 20 games in Kansas, and they just increased it to you can play 23 games now. So this past off season was hard trying to find extra opponents and things like that. But the schedule has been set for a while though. Yes.
Okay. When is your first game?
December 5th. We get like 2.5 weeks of practice.
Yeah, you get a decent amount. And do you get to choose your strength of schedule, or how does that work?
No, the league we're playing in is absolutely loaded. So the first 2 years I've been here, we've gotten third in the league both years. There's kind of 2 state powerhouses that they've both been in the state championship game in the last 2 years that I've been coaching here. So we finished behind them the first 2 seasons that I've been a part of it. So our league's really good. And then to make kind of a long story short, the league we play in, there's Division I and Division II. So you play, and we're Division I because I'm at a pretty big high school, but you play every Division I team twice, home and away, and then you play half of the Division II schools, and it just kind of rotates from year to year. And then you have a midseason.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have anybody got a magic pill for Kalen here? I think some of it, I think it's just knowing that you're going to go through your lumps, and I, for our state, the 8 years that I had at Lake Oswego, and I think this comes back to your philosophy or your one word or your core values, right? So like what your program is going to be known for. Aiden can attest to this. Like Jesuit is a powerhouse. Lake Oswego traditionally have been a powerhouse, but we're a public school, so we'll go through our lumps, in terms of talent. But for every year that I was here, I always asked my AD for the hardest schedule. And a couple things on that. Like, I don't know how, again, you have aspirations to coach at the next level, and maybe this will be something that's just more triggering or like thought provoking. I thought to myself, I will not make my mark getting to the X number of wins and climbing the ranks in the all-time winning, like coach list in the state of Oregon. I will leave my mark knowing that my players were always pushed to their limits to be the best that they're capable of being. And in order to be the best, in order to beat the best, you had to play the best. So I stacked my schedule every year, no matter what. And I mean, don't tell everybody this, but like, I think my 8-year record is like barely like 10 games over 500. So every year, and again, the other things I'm asking, and we'll on a separate call, I'll ask about your rankings and how the sections are set. In the state of Oregon, it was all based on power rankings, so we had an incentive to play a tougher schedule, and so we could be 11 and 14, going, or let's say we're 11 and 12 going into playoffs, and George over at South Eugene is 18 and 4, and we could be ranked higher because he would have had a weak schedule and we would have had a tough schedule. So for me, it was always about getting into the top 8 or top 16 seeds so we can host a playoff game, or we can host 2 playoffs games, and then we could get to the Child Center for the state championship for the final 8. So the question for you is, okay, you finished 3rd place both years. You again, it's thinking about how you fit into your league in a bigger picture, right? You finished 3rd both years, and now you're nervous because like you might finish 5th, you might drop. But I think this is usually for years, and this is for I think TC as well. Like for most of us who are like 3rd or 4th, those are the years when you show your culture. You talk about culture, you talk about your expectations. To me, I didn't. I have to give and this is for George and other guys who were like first couple years as head coaches. Like those 2 years as those juniors and seniors, they weren't really my players. They didn't have the foundation that I could give them for all 4 years. Third and fourth, by the time when we were number one in the state, that senior class had me for 4 years, and they knew exactly what to expect from me. And so I felt like that gave me a window of time, right? And so it's even for you, like third year, you can take your lumps and have your records be what it is, but you can earn the respect of everybody else in the league and saying, man, that is a tough out over there where Kalen's at, and they play a certain way. Boy, when you go to their gym, you better, and then they better have XYZ that they're worrying about you on, right? And I think more so than like the production or the record, like I think about that. I think about like how did other teams feel about Lake Oswego when they were playing us, right? I mean, Aiden, I'll put you on the spot. Like, what was it like for you, like knowing that you were playing us, right? What did you expect?
Yeah, I mean, before every game we played you guys, I was nervous just because I knew you guys would have to scout, right? You guys would face guard me because you know I wanted to shoot and I couldn't dribble. And just the culture you guys came in with, like everyone was together. Big Fred was in there, and it was the same with Josh and you know Abiri and Roberts. Like all those guys were just so connected, and so just the culture and the scout and the knowledge you guys had, I always knew coming in like. Well, we've got to lean on our fourth, fifth, and sixth guys because tonight it's not going to be my night. I just kind of knew that, and maybe a game or two I did have a good game, but a majority of them it was like they're going to know the scout.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's one like a former player's perspective, right? And it's like, okay, well, how do I as a coach get into like I'm worrying about myself. I'm not worried about how other people are seeing, how they're gonna be. But I think it's that a coach, like you want the other coach to come in going like against Kalen's team, they're down this year, but I better bring my A game, right? And I know that I did this for the world team. I know USA basketball, if I'm head coach again in April, is shaking in their boots, knowing what we just did, right? With like a second-rate roster, according to all those experts in the NBA, and we sent the team game to an overtime, right? They're having to worry about us, which is a complete shift. And I think for any one of you guys, like if you can get your program to that place, no matter where you're coaching, man, you won. So um man, I'm hyped for you. Now, John, we got to take a road trip to Kansas. Go watch some girls basketball, boy. Shoot,
Yeah,
We
Marshall,
actually,
Marshall, I was gonna. Sorry,
oh, go ahead, John.
I was gonna say the same thing that Marshall said. I mean, implicit in your question, at least what I heard was, we're gonna be down, and how we're gonna improve my record, and it's really gonna be about the journey, especially for your freshmen. You have 4 years to build that group and the culture and the program, and as Marshall said, like the 4 years. So I was thinking the same thought, which is you got to maybe reframe the problem around how do I get the best out of this group each year, but also with an eye toward as a freshman coach, a lot of what I focus on is how do I help this player develop for varsity. So they may not have a great season for me, but if I can help them along the path to JV and varsity, that I've done my job, right? And winning at the freshman level means nothing, right? So having them do the same thing over and over again that works because they're physically more mature or more experienced, that's not going to help them later. So applying that same thought to your young team, you have an opportunity to do that. So I would be excited that like it's your program. You're going to have players that are now your players, and you have an opportunity to do that over the next the next, not just this season. I'm not saying don't compete, don't do all the things Marshall's saying, but you definitely want to be competitive. You definitely want to let people know you're a force, but it's a 4-year journey, not a 1-year journey for you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take just the last comment question from Aiden, and then we'll wrap up this evening.
Yeah, sorry to keep everyone. I mean,
Oh, you
the
good?
first thing I thought of was just kind of taking away expectations from those young guys and just being like, as long as you guys are making aggressive mistakes, that's all we want you to do. They just can't be timid. Instill confidence into them. Again, like Coach John just said, like they have 3 more years, 4 more years to make these aggressive mistakes. And so come senior year, when you've made all those mistakes, there's not going to be many more to make. So just understanding that you will mess up is the most important, and accepting that, and then just going from there. It's all about the process.
That's good stuff, Aiden. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. Coach Cho, you got anything else you want to share?
No, just how am I doing this? Okay. No, just John and I are just super grateful. Uh excited to grow with you guys, excited for the conversations that'll take place on Slack after, and look forward to learning from all of you guys as well.
Yeah, likewise. Awesome session, guys. Like I said, I'll drop this in the Slack sometime by the end of tomorrow. So if you guys need to rewatch anything. But yeah, we'll be in touch over there, and great to see and meet you all.
Good night. Good night, Rochelle.
Thanks, guys.
It's late.
Good night, y'all.
Good night. See you guys. Nice to meet
See you.
everybody.
Likewise.
See you
All right.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
And congrats.